hello, and thank you for joining us for the 2013 Paradise Jam Preview Show. I am a very excited version of News 2's Monica Jonigan, and we are here to break down the women's tournament with you. And with us, as always, is the man who has the plan for the tournament 24/7, Executive Director of Basketball Travelers and President of Basketball Travelers, Nels Hawkinson. Welcome home, Nels.
No, we're bringing it to the women's show coming on. We got the best tournament in the country coming to you live here from the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's exciting, and I can't wait to spill the beans about all the great scoop on these teams.
We have so much to talk about. This is the 14th year of the Women's Jam, and without a doubt, St. Thomas has become the premier destination for NC2A Division I elite teams. And over the next half hour, we'll break down the tournament by teams and try to give you a sense of who we think might come away with the championship this year. Nels, before we get into this year's tournament, let's talk history a little bit. Take us back to the first Paradise Jam. How different were those days, and where were you and your team then as opposed to now, and how you've been able to build such a high-quality, elite early season tournament?
You know, absolutely. I came on a cruise ship like a lot of people to discover the Virgin Islands, like Christopher Columbus did in like 1493, I think it was. So 600 years later, I show up and say, you know what? There's something cool here that Christopher Columbus thought like too. And I said, the people are awesome. You know, the people are great. And I just felt that they had the infrastructure to run something like this, something special. There were some NCAA rules which made it in favor to have teams come here. Only tournaments at that time could be in Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. So that was kind of a niche. And we've grown off of that, and starting at Dora Ken with Sinclair Wilkinson believing in that, and having the goats eating the side of the hill to get the grass put away so that as the teams come in, it looks fairly professional, and it's been great, and we've been building on that ever since.
And it's all about relationships with this tournament too, isn't it? I mean, you have a staff now that is local, and they are ready to just come together, and we know the tournament, we love it, we all wait for November, and your face is a very familiar one around. Give us a sense of how the relationship between Paradise Jam and the Virgin Islands has really solidified over the years.
Well, I'm kind of like Santa Claus now, you know, except he's North Polish and I'm American, because they know that the tourist season is coming, and we have a staff of about 275 people to put this all together. We have about 45 people with the television crew. We have our fly-down staff. We have our officials. We have the 175 high school kids that get their community service credits. It's quite a big operation to put on, but I'm telling you, it is something that's a lot of fun to be able to do with the community, and then count on each year to have these two great men and women's events.
Okay, well, of course, the Paradise Jam Women's Tournament kicks off November 28th at the Sports and Fitness Center on the UVI campus of St. Thomas. And Nels, for fans who aren't able to make it down during Thanksgiving holiday, how will they be able to see the games this year? This year's Women's Paradise Jam features Duke, Xavier, Central Michigan, Kansas, Syracuse, Memphis, Texas, and Texas A&M. So that's a lot of fans around the country. What have you guys done to make it possible for them to see some of the games?
Yeah, each one of the games are streamed. They can go to paradisejam.com and pick up the stream right from there. And so we've got about 7 different cameras all around the facility for all the women's games. And of course, those fans that might be a Texas fan or Syracuse fans or whoever, they can listen to their own radio broadcast as well, as all 24 men and women's games are on radio all across the country and streamed all across the world.
This year's theme for the Paradise Jam is Virgin Islands, we make you feel like family, and that's absolutely true.
We are family. You know, I'd like to sing a little bit, sometimes 10 or 12 miles away. But no, we are family, and I feel like family. About a 90-year-old lady a few years ago came up to me last year and said, you know, you're an Islander man now, you know, and it warmed my heart, and I'm like, wow, that was the greatest compliment ever paid to me, and I do feel welcome, and I do feel like I'm a part of the family.
Well, we'd love to welcome you home. And we're going to give you a look at this year's teams. We've got lots to wet your whistle with ahead with the Paradise Jam Preview Show when we come back, so stay with us.
Paradise Jam is back. Queens of college basketball are back in paradise. Paradise Jam!
right, the Paradise Jam Tournament is back, celebrating its 14th year in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the road to the Final Four starts right here in Paradise. The men's tournament kicks off at the UVI Sports and Fitness Center, November 22nd to the 25th. Watch top-ranked teams like LaSalle, Maryland, and Providence. Also, check out the UVI Bucks in the exhibition game on November 23rd. The women's tournament starts playing November 28th through the 30th. Come and watch big-time matchups with ranked teams like Duke, Kansas, and Texas A&M. Tickets are available at Fat Turtle and the UVI Bookstore. Tickets are $15 for adults, $10 for senior citizens, and $5 for children, high school students, UVI students with ID, and UVI staff. CBS Sports will be broadcasting on November 22nd, 24th, and 25th. For more information and game schedules, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, or log on to www.paradisejam.com. I'll see you at the game!
Welcome back to the Paradise Jam preview show. We're with Nels Hawkinson, and we're just about ready to break down the women's teams. So Nels, let's get right into it, starting with the Texas Longhorns.
Texas Longhorns, this is their 40th year of women's basketball. Karen Aston is in control of the team, former assistant coach at the University of Texas. She earned her stripes getting that job from North Carolina Charlotte, North Texas before then.
Oh, yes.
She struggled last year in her first year there because of soiree of, how do I like that word, soiree of injuries, 12-21. Last season, and but they're all 5 starters are back.
Yes.
Most of the players are back. One of the worst seasons Texas has ever had, but they're going to bring it. They have one of the tallest players in the tournament, 6'7", gal, Tammy McKee, who's pretty good, and they go 6'5" and 6'4" across the front lines.
And they also have Chastity Fusel. I mean, that senior. She's a 3-time scoring leader for the Longhorns, and frankly, one of the best shooters in the Big 12.
Absolutely, and they take their basketball seriously, as you know, being from Texas. That 12-21 season is not at all acceptable. A little pressure on Karen, but she's going to do just fine, and we're looking for great things here.
Well, Nels, I don't know if you knew this, but I was born in Texas. I was raised in California, but had sense enough to make the Virgin Islands my home. But my entire extended family is in Texas, and I'm telling you, they're going to be pea green with envy because I'm about to enjoy not just Longhorn action, but Texas A&M, the Aggieville. The Aggies are coming to Rock City.
That's right.
Year.
That's my boy, Gary Blair. Gary Blair is my best friend in college coaching. He is an old school, laid back, shucks kind of guy. I ain't very good, but he's really good. He is outstandingly good. He's had 8 straight 20-win seasons. 2 years ago, he won a national championship. Texas A&M wasn't UConn, wasn't Tennessee, wasn't Duke. It was Texas A&M. He was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in Knoxville, Tennessee. He invited me as part of his family. He's only allowed to bring like about a dozen people. I got to experience the whole Hall of Fame and actually got to MC one of the things, if you could believe it.
I can believe that. I
can
fully believe that.
The only way I'm going to get in the Hall of Fame is to buy a ticket, okay? Because there's no way I'm getting in there. So I got to experience that. They're very, very, very good, and I expect them to win the championship.
As your friend, how hard was it to convince him to bring his team down to the Virgin Islands?
This is his 3rd time. He came with Arkansas, and he came here with A&M. You're only allowed to come once every 4 years. That's why the UConns and Tennessees and stuff aren't here every year. So he comes every 4 years that he can. So we take really good care of my boy, and can't wait to see him and go out for a few dinners at some of these great places.
It's a great recruiting tool as well. Now let's talk about Central Michigan and what can happen to big teams that are in the tournament who sleep on a team as not well known like Central Michigan. They can be dangerous.
No, they're very dangerous. Last year was their first NCAA tournament appearance in 30 years.
Oh my goodness.
30 years. Now, the reason why it was their first appearance is this gal by the name of Crystal Bradford. She's a junior. I am the deputy head of delegation for the U.S. team for the World University Games. She was on our women's national team in Russia. I got the chance to see her play. In fact, I got to do a little announcing. I did the semifinal game on ESPN for the Australia-USA team, which was kind of nice. It was kind of fun. I love to get to talk. It's nice stuff. So they played Russia in their home court in the national championship. In 1980, the U.S. National team had to pull out because of the politics of not going to Moscow. So this is the first time in over 30 years that we've had a U.S. team in Moscow to play against the Russians in women's basketball, and we beat them by 21. She had 16 points against the Russians, and they're tough. And so for Crystal Bradford, and the irony of irony, the gal that'll come here next year, the coaches at Oklahoma, she had 36 against Oklahoma, and she was Sherry Cole's the coach of that team. So she brought her on knowing that she bumped her for 36 during the season, and she's the real deal. Crystal Bradford is going to, if not MVP, she's going to be an all-star. She in herself is going to be exciting to watch. The Chippewas from Central,
right?
Because they got a chip on their shoulder and bringing it here to the islands.
It's going to be great. Let's move on to Xavier. They've been to the Paradise Jam before. They were better then than they are this year. They're sort of in a rebuilding phase with this team. Give us a sense of how you think they'll perform in this year's tournament.
The Musketeers, they were 13 and 16 last year. Kevin McGuff had led them to, some Sweet 16s, some Elite 8s. He's now at the Ohio State.
Yes, he is.
Damie Waugh, great sweetheart, know her real well. She stepped down just a month ago. So to lose a coach already, once you started practicing, is pretty difficult. A guy by the name of Brian Neal, who I've not met, I don't know, but he has a great coaching background. But he has his hands full. He has 8 freshmen and 3 sophomores. So they got 11 youngins. They're going to try to play against some of the best in the country. I think, to be honest, they're going to struggle, but I hope the best for them.
It's the kind of dynamic as well, too. If you have a team like that, at least you want to give them a look at where they need to be, where they should be at that level. And I think it's a great opportunity for Xavier to come in, and if they get thumped, at least they know where they should be at that point.
And they take this seriously. I mean, so seriously, this team's chartering. We have quite a few teams chartering. They're chartering here to St. Thomas to get in here, play the games, get back to the rest of their season. But there is a little bit of time for snorkeling trip and a nice little reception by the pool.
Oh, I'm sure they'll make time for that. Let's talk about the Syracuse Orange. And they'll certainly be soaking up some sun before they head back to the frigid New York winter where they are stationed. You were recently with some members of the team.
I was. Right? Yeah, Q is his man. Goes by Q, Coach Q.
Coach Q.
Yeah, Quentin Hilsman. He was out at Washington State. I was there last week, and my son plays on Washington State men's basketball team. A lot of you might remember him when he was about 4 years old and about 3 feet high and about 55 pounds. Well,
that tiny little ball boy is no more.
He's a big
one now.
He is. So I saw Q there and talked to him a little bit. He's excited. They had a phenomenal season, the best season in Syracuse history. They're ranked 22nd in the country, 24-8. He has 3 starters back from that very, very good team, but he does have 5 freshmen as well. They had the top 10 recruiting class. I finished 8th in the top 10 recruiting class. Those freshmen are no bad freshmen. They're good freshmen. But even a freshman in this event, might not get a lot of time because we have a lot of really good teams here. But so it'll be interesting to see how they do. But I wish him all the best of luck as well.
Okay. Oh, this is getting good. Well, we're going to take a pause right now so we can pay some bills, but expect a lot more coming up. And join us and stay with us. We'll be right back. You're watching the Paradise Jam Preview Show.
It's back! That's right, the Paradise Jam Tournament is back, celebrating its 14th year in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the road to the Final Four starts right here in Paradise. The men's tournament kicks off at the UVI Sports and Fitness Center, November 22nd to the 25th. Watch top-ranked teams like LaSalle, Maryland, and Providence. Also, check out the UVI Bucks in the exhibition game on November 23rd. The women's tournament starts playing November 28th through the 30th. Come and watch big-time matchups with ranked teams like Duke, Kansas, and Texas A&M. Tickets are available at Fat Turtle and the UVI Bookstore. Tickets are $15 for adults, $10 for senior citizens, and $5 for children, high school students, UVI students with ID, and UVI staff. CBS Sports will be broadcasting on November 22nd, 24th, and 25th. For more information and game schedules, follow us on Twitter and Facebook or log on to www.paradisejam.com. I'll see you at the game!
Paradise Jam is back. Queens of college basketball are back in paradise. Paradise Jam!
back to the 2013 Paradise Jam preview show. If you're just joining us, I'm yucking it up with Nels over here, and we're breaking down the women's teams for this year. In 2002, the Paradise Jam was strictly a women's tournament. And, well, in 2001, actually, we'll say. And in 2002, the Blue Devils arrived, and then they came back in 2007. And Coach Colley, who leads that team, Coach P, as they like to call her, has said she's really looking forward to coming back to the Virgin Islands. What can basketball fans expect from the Duke Blue Devils this year? This is a serious team. In the ACC, they've got weapons. They
can expect just excellency. I mean, they are so good. 33-3 last year. Number two in the country is coming into the Rock. They're bringing it. They are loaded. She's been 7 years at Duke. Coach P, as she's known by. She's coached in 4 different leagues and Coach of the Year in all 4 leagues. I mean, she's so good. She could take the Virgin Islands women's national team and probably get them at least a medal in the Olympics. I mean, she can get at. No, she is really, really good.
And 3-time ACC Coach of the Year as well.
3 out of the last 4 years, AC. In fact, in the ACC, they were 17-0 last year. So how do you improve on 17-0? You know, that's going to be one of my questions when she comes here. How do you talk to your team that was 17-0? How do you get better than that?
Right.
You know, and so that's a little tricky thing to do.
In the last 3 or 4 years, there'd been a lot of talk around women's college basketball, and a lot of people were sort of starting to be skeptical if it was still competitive. When you have your UConns and Tennessee and these teams that seem to just blow other teams out of the water. But Duke was a team that really started to emerge and out of the ACC and become, you know, a powerhouse squad and mix it up a bit. And now they stand up there at the top.
No, they're right up there with the Tennessees and the UConns. They just haven't won the national championships and don't have quite that history. But I'm telling you, they're knocking on heaven's door. They're always, you know, Elite Eight to, you know, maybe Final Four. It's just. It takes
so close.
Yeah, no, so close and yet so far. Yeah, no, it's true. But she has 11 players back. 94% of the scoring is coming back. No, it's incredible. They have a gal named Tricia Liston that was on that same World University Games team that Bradford was on from Central Michigan. They have a All-American freshman by the name of Alexis Jones, 5'8", just can do it all. I mean, she is deep. The bench is really deep.
The bench is really deep in this team.
And with the rule changes that are coming on in the NCAA, where you cannot touch anybody. You know, when you play defense like guards, your hands are out here, kind of help for balance. You basically can't touch. You can touch them with your body. You cannot touch them with your hands. A lot of people are really upset with the start of the basketball season. There's like 60, 70 free throws being attempted, and it's just
games
it's not good. And so for that, a team like Duke has a deep bench. And so the deep bench and people that can penetrate to the hole are some of the keys to, you know, with the new rule changes to being successful.
And we've seen some rough going with these adjustments in the early season. We saw some of these opening games not only running longer, but the flow of the game is a bit off when there's just so much whistle action. Do you think this new rule will be likely to affect the women's game less than the men's, only because we're smarter, and and besides that, I mean, they bang hard down low. It's still very athletic, but do you get the sense that the women will probably transition into this new rule a little better?
I think that the men will struggle with it more than the women, because the men's game is a much more penetrate and kick it out, or in other words, for the fan, you drive to the basket, then pass it out to the wing. The women don't do that as much rely on that as much. You know, they're a little more perimeter oriented, a lot of 3-point shots, and so I think it's going to affect the men's game more than the women's. But you know, I was just at a game last week, at my son's game, and you know, it was boring. You know, everybody's going to the foul line. Everybody wants to score, come back here and score, and the rule was actually created so that there wouldn't be as much defense played, and so that you could get more scoring. Well, they're getting scoring, but it's from the foul line. And I'm telling you right now, NCAA committee, we got to get rid of that puppy. It's just not good. And that we just had the opening weekend. So stay tuned. It's going to be in all the newspapers and about getting rid of this thing for next season.
Well, it'll be interesting, and we'll definitely get our chance to take a look at it right here in our hometown tournament. Let's go forward with let's talk about the Kansas Jayhawks.
I like them because it's got Hawk. I'm Hawk and Son.
Oh, yes.
You got the Jayhawks, and so both their men and women's programs are good. You know, Bonnie Hendrickson's been there now for I think 10 years. For 10 years. She has been to the postseason tournament 7 of the previous 9. They've been to 2 back-to-back Sweet 16s. she is 20 and 14 last season. Now she's got, eventually, it's hard to keep that ball rolling because she isn't Duke, she's not UConn, but she's built something out there out there in Kansas where, the town's so flat you can see your dog run away for 3 days.
But Kansas is basketball country.
It is.
That's basketball country, and if you're going to build a women's program and make it a powerhouse, that's where you want to be.
No, it is, and they have 5 new freshmen that are going to get some time early, and I wish the best for Bonnie and her team. We're really glad to have them back.
They're in our Island division, and they're going to take on Xavier. They'll also see Duke. That's going to be a great matchup. I'm really looking forward to that Saturday, November 30th, 4 p.m., Kansas Duke. Do not miss it. You will be sorry. Let's move on and talk about the Memphis Tigers. Lady Tigers are here.
They are, and Melissa McFerrin, has turned that entire program around. The men have been great for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
The women have not been very good for a long, long time. She's now led them to 4 straight tournament appearances. A lot of people want to come to the Paradise Jam that aren't maybe one of the top teams, because when you play on a neutral floor and you come here because there's no home court advantage, and so the crowd yelling and so everybody's on a neutral floor. So it's a great opportunity for her to, if they play well, to get into the top 25, baby. Because you get in the top 25, you get on TV, you get more press, you get more recruits, you get more money, and it all starts flowing in a little bit.
And this team reminds me of what has happened when we see, like with the Kansas Jayhawks, with even Duke. When you have a strong men's team and, when they've been able to grow and they get butts in the seats and they get on TV a lot, then there's actually some space there for the women's programs to sort of build and attract new talent.
Yep, absolutely. And so this team is a little young. They lost a few seniors last year. They do have 3 starters back, but they have 11, count them, 8 freshmen and 3 sophomores. And so if they can step it up and show maturity early, they have a chance to be successful.
Okay. As we know, none of this could be possible without a huge team and a big cadre of sponsors and helpers that we have, that Basketball Travelers has been able to bring together over the years. And Nels, I want you to give us a sense of who they are and who do we need to thank for bringing this back to the territory yet again?
Absolutely. First of all, we have to thank the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism. Unbelievable commitment to this Paradise Jam. They get it. They understand the promotion before, during, and after the event. And so just really appreciate that. And of course, the U.S. government and Governor Young, he's been supportive since long before he's even a governor, and great. And Ezybonds, a group out of Australia that believes they're actually set up a business right here in the U.S. Virgin Islands and for their new business and opening up in the United States. So we thank them. And then all the local sponsors, A.H. Reese and AT&T, Avis, you know who you are, but the people that are watching the broadcast don't, so I really want the opportunity to hear that. Ballerina Jewelers, Banco Popular, Bellows, Belonga Bay Beach Resort, Broadband VI, Business World, Caribbean Food Service, Caribbean Screen, Printing, a lot of Caribbean here, Chalet Dior, Coca-Cola, we've got the Global Orthopedic Global, Coral World Daily News, The Vibe, my boy Sheldon, Designs, Dial Rent to Own, Ezybonds, as I mentioned, Fat Turtle, where you can get some tickets, Havana Blue, Home Depot, doing some great things over there, International Capital Management. We got 2K Sports. They come and they give us all the latest 2K14 videos for all the players. They're a national sponsor. Lucky Jewelers, Mahogany Run, Nike, of course, that supplies a lot of the things, and where all the teams stay. The Marriott, which is great. Pizza Hut, Red Hook Agencies. Nice job, Tammy. Subway, Tropic Tours, 22 Park Mall. Way to go, Monique. Close to your name. TV. 2 CBS, who's that? Whoa, a little shout out to them. Virgin Beverages, VI Port Authority, West India Corporation, and then Alma Media Group. Good golly, we can't do it without you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and just excited that you want to be a part again this year.
Thank you so much. Well, thanks to our sponsors. Thank you, Nels, and thank you for joining us for the 2013 Paradise Jam Preview Show. Women's game starts November 28th. 2:15, get out there, get your tickets, and we'll see you at the games.
Yo, the place is here, the time is now. On top of the world and I can't come down. No, I can't come down. This is how it feels to stand on the I can't come